Hi, kids. My name's Coach Judith, and I am going to be teaching you a little bit about coding today as part of our quarantine coding club. For those of you who are new to this, I have been teaching coding for about 6 years to kids. And prior to that, I worked in industry and I have a degree in computer science. I really enjoy teaching, and I think we're going to have a great time. We're going to watch this video together, and let me set that up real quick. All right, I hope you can see that now. Let's watch it.
You may have noticed that I am using a webcam today. Something that we have all recently learned is a crucial piece of quarantine technology. We'll come back here, but first, let's go.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about a webcam. Stephen mentioned a webcam. So there's a lot of different webcams that we're all using. I am using a laptop with a built-in webcam. Some of you might be doing that too. You might have a webcam attached to your desktop computer. You might be using a cell phone or a tablet. So lots of different options there. One thing that I find really interesting, I learned today that webcams have sold out on Amazon. Everybody's talking about toilet paper selling out. Hopefully you guys have enough toilet paper, but I haven't heard people talking until today about all the webcams that have sold out. Let's keep watching.
On a visual journey. This was my office the weekend before the quarantine started.
Oh, goodness. That was my office too, making me a little bit nostalgic. I really liked going in and seeing all my coworkers in the office. I kind of miss that. I bet there are people in your world that you don't see in person anymore, and you maybe you miss those people. I'm wondering how many of you are using webcam technology to see your grandparents or your friends or your teachers. I've been doing that with my coworkers, but somehow it's not really quite the same as being there with them. Let's keep watching.
Lindsay and I came to pick up some last minute things. I want you to notice the paper on the walls.
All right, let's talk about that paper on the walls. How many of you have paper on your walls? Maybe you have a bulletin board in your room or a whiteboard in the door to your room, or maybe your family has a chore board where everybody gets assigned things that they're supposed to do. I have things on my refrigerator. I have pictures, and I have some things that we've written as our family. Maybe you have that also. The paper that Stephen just showed on the walls, those were all assignments that we were working on in our office. So we each had a row, and we would have the assignments that we still needed to do, the assignments we were currently doing, and the biggest column was all the assignments that we had finished working on. Let's keep watching.
Here's the writing surfaces, the whiteboards. Notice the conference tables. More places where we can write. I want to point out that a company that makes software has an office full of places to write stuff that isn't software. If you want to understand.
Well, that was interesting. So Stephen was talking about writing. We're going to talk a lot more about writing. We're going to think about what writing is. He's going to talk a little bit.
Both how software is helping us through COVID-19 and also what software may need to be built in order to overcome the challenges that we're currently facing. The key is to start with what software is. I've always told my students, if you want to understand how to code, first unlearn what writing is.
Okay, so Stephen said we should unlearn what writing is. Let's talk a little bit about what we think writing is. So here are some of my ideas, and I'd love to hear some of your ideas. Of course, there's the writing on a piece of paper. There is the writing with your thumbs on your phone, where you send messages to other people, or even writing on the phone just to get onto different websites. There's these videos that we're watching, that we're creating. There's music. I love reading and music. I'm in a choir. Maybe some of you sing or are in bands where you play music. I love reading and writing music, looking at those little notes. And I think it's really cool how a bunch of people can all look at these dots and lines and read that piece of musical writing and know that what it's supposed to sound like? Let's hear what Stephen's ideas are.
And then relearn it. There's a much broader definition of writing out there. This video is a piece of writing. This cat inside the video, that itself is a piece of writing.
Okay, I just want to stop because I love to look at pictures of animals. I have a lot of pets. I like looking at cats. This cat is looking pretty silly, but anyway, here we go.
This piece of paper is a piece of writing. This file on my GitHub repository is a piece of writing.
Okay, Stephen just used the term GitHub repository. Probably a lot of you don't know what that is. That is a fancy word for a place where everyone in our office and a lot of people all over the world store code so that people can work together or collaborate on it. So all the code that we've written in our company is all stored in one GitHub repository, and then we can all work on it together. It's really important to learn how to collaborate, even when you're a computer scientist working out of your house.
What I am asking you to do is to throw out your old definition of writing. You know, the one that your grade school teachers put into your brain, the one that...
Okay, so some of you probably have grade school teachers right now that maybe you're doing Zoom classes with. Don't tell them that Stephen said to throw any piece of knowledge that they gave you out, because you need to listen to your teachers just like you need to listen to Stephen and me. But maybe they've told you some things that you can also expand your knowledge.
Restricts writing to what you write with your hand on paper and what you type into a word processor like Microsoft Word or Google Docs. What I'm asking you to do is adopt something much closer to the definition that computer scientists have when they say things like reading and writing data, or reading and writing to a file.
So Stephen just used the word data. Maybe you've heard the term data used before. Probably now some interesting pieces of data that you might have heard about are how many people in your city have tested positive for the coronavirus, or how many students in your school are working online in a Zoom class. These are different pieces of data that you might hear people using.
Reading and writing to memory or to...
Oh, there he used the word memory. When Stephen says memory, he's not thinking of that happy, hopefully happy memory you have of your birthday party from last year. He's thinking about computer memory. So that is where files are stored on a computer. All of the code that is written to make computers run and all the things that you create when you use your computer, they're all stored in memory.
To a disk or to cache.
Oh, there's another word, cache. So cash, C-A-S-H, that's money. That's not what Stephen is talking about. He is talking about cache, C-A-C-H-E. That is temporary storage that is used on your computer. So things that your computer has to use for now, but maybe won't need to use later, those things are stored in cache.
Or reading and writing to a variable.
Variable. Probably you guys have heard that term in your math class. Maybe you've heard that you can use two variables, A and B, in this math equation. A plus B equals 5. So A could be 1 and B could be 4 if A plus B equaled 5. Those are variables, but they can vary. They could also be, A could be 2 and B could be 3. A plus B, 2 plus 3, still equals 5.
Coders use those terms in a much more general way because we're talking about information and its storage. Can you write a PowerPoint deck? Yes. Can you write music? Yes. Can you write a video game? Yes.
How many of you have written a video game? I hope that we're going to get to write a video game together in this class. I've written a video game. It's really fun to write your own video game and then play it.
Can you write a video? Yes. And I don't just mean the script. I mean the video itself. I mean this exact thing that you're watching. I wrote it partially with the script that I typed with my hands, partly with storyboards that I wrote in my notebook, or storyboards that I wrote on index cards.
How many of you have created a video before? I bet a lot of you have created videos before. Did you use writing? Did you write things down on storyboard or on notes, or did you just film? How did you write your videos?
I'm writing using my actions of my body right now. They're getting fed into this device.
Uh-oh, watch out!
You know, the webcam. And I'm writing using my voice recorded by this device right here. And I write an animation, yes. And I want to point out that that's...
Okay, Stephen just used the word animation. Maybe you've heard that term before. The animation that we're about to see, we're going to watch Scratch the cat move. And the code that we're looking at right now on the screen, it says when the green flag is clicked, repeat 100 times, move 10 steps. So what's going to happen is the cat is going to move 10 steps 100 times, which is 1,000 steps, as soon as Stephen clicks that green flag. And when that cat moves, that is an animation.
What I'm doing when I code in, say, Scratch, I create one piece of writing over here. But then when I press this button, an animation begins over here.
Okay, so those are two different kinds of writing. You wrote the code in Scratch, and then the cat moving, that animation of the cat moving, that's another kind of writing.
That is how you write an animation in Scratch, by writing code that writes the animation. Is that weird? Yeah, it is. It's also cool. Code is a form of writing that produces other writings.
Okay, so code is a form of writing. You wrote the code that produces other writing, the animation. And Stephen is about to tell you that that's really meta. We're going to talk about meta, what it means to be meta.
Your writings can write. It's meta writing. Now, if you've never heard coding explained that way before, that's because most people don't explain it that way. But why they don't, I'm not sure, because it's literally the first lesson for almost every coder.
Okay, so our company is called Meta Coders because meta coding is what we do, and it's the most important thing, as Stephen is about to tell you. The first thing you do is you write code that writes code, usually called Hello World. So our company Meta Coders is because we are meta.
What do? You write a program that writes Hello World. You write a program that writes. From day one, you meta write as a coder.
This is where we're going to stop, and we're going to hand this video over to my friend Sunny, who's going to continue.